You're a scholar in terms of doing a lot of study on Paul. And Paul is a real mystery to a lot of scholars because the psychological profile of Paul, no reason why he would have become a Christian. There had to be that X again. Mm-hmm. Describe for the folks that are listening what we're talking about.
Well, remember Saul's background. He's a Hebrew among Hebrews. That means he spoke the traditional language of Hebrew or Aramaic. He's a Pharisee among Pharisees. That means he belonged to one of the strictest sects of early Judaism, very punctiliar about the obedience to the Mosaic law down to the last jot and tittle, and even more traditions than that. We're talking about a person who, according to his own testimony in Galatians 1, was a persecutor of early Christianity, persecuted it violently, he says, in Galatians chapter 1. And of course, Acts confirms this as well as a secondary piece of evidence. What kind of thing could have happened to him to change him from an all-out zealot against the early messianic movement that we call Christianity to a strong, zealous advocate of the same? Some dramatic about-face U-turn had to have happened to Paul on Damascus Road. And I know of no better term to describe this than conversion. It's not true, of course, that he was going from no beliefs to Christian beliefs. It's not true that he was going from a false religion to a true religion. What he believed was that he was becoming a completed Messianic Jewish person, and that the belief that Jesus was that Messiah figure was the missing piece in the puzzle that completed the picture and rearranged the whole way that he would look at life. Previously, he had looked at life through the lens of the law. Now he was going to see life through the eyes of Christ. Now, I know of no better way to explain that kind of dramatic shift in a person's life than to say he had a close encounter of the first kind with the risen Jesus, and that's what changed his life. What's interesting to me is that even some of the recent Jewish scholars who have dealt with Saul of Tarsus have been willing to say something dramatic had to happen to him to cause this change.
Where is modern scholarship in terms of evaluating what happened to Paul? Where are the majority of scholars? In other words, what do they attribute to the conversion of Paul?
Well, you know, there used to be this old psychological profile. Saul was an angst-ridden person, guilt-ridden because he had persecuted some of his fellow Jews who had become Christians, and in agonizing over all of that, he converted to Christianity through wrestling through his own guilt. Now, the thing that's interesting to me about that is that Paul himself says nothing to suggest this, and the book of Acts suggests nothing like that. He was going to Damascus to persecute some more Christians. He was not going to Damascus to join them. And so, you know, the evidence as we have it suggests that something other than a sort of psychological process along the way is what